We should be on YouTube now. So hopefully, yeah. So we started a 1 hour late today, only because of that time change. So we can have time to reach our people. So have we been able to see the YouTube version?
Lady, I'm looking for it to I'm not. I'm still trying to see it.
Right. Maybe a glitch, like a little few minutes before it shows, but it's on.
Okay, let me see. I'm still looking out. Still watching out for.
Oh yeah, it's here. So I'll share that as well. Some people prefer that YouTube.
Some
And
people
then,
are not even on Facebook, so that YouTube is what they watch, and some are not on YouTube, watch on Facebook. Yeah,
right.
share both of them. Okay, I've sent it to.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Welcome to the program once again. Let's see here. All right. So today, as our topic goes, I don't know if most of you saw our promo. We were a little bit late this week in sending out the promo, only because we are waiting to get some more information as to what's going on ground. Because a lot of things are happening, things are changing. The people that was trying to change one Nigeria with their vote, they got the greatest 419 of their life. So they're still lamenting and running around and thinking they are going to make any sort of impact in the midst of a faulty foundation. So we waited that late to start. So as our topic goes, identifying the appropriate pathway to self-determination. Because a lot of people, think they are doing something. And in their fairness, they may be doing some things, but they are not doing all the right things that will deliver the result that we seek. And that's where the problem comes in. Because people are dying, if this was something that we can wait on and do competition, and people are not dying, we'll continue the competition until, whenever. But the problem that we have here is that we are running out of time and our people are dying, our people are suffering. They are going through it, like my daughter would say, they are going through it. So we need to be hasty about what we're doing. And that is the premise why we are doing this show today, to show you guys line by line exactly who is doing what and what they're doing. Because our people don't have the time to articulate all these things. Who has time in the midst of hunger and despair to go around and put all these things together? But God has, been kind to us to have such time and given us the wisdom to be able to put these things in a format that will make sense to our people. So the right of people to determine their stateful governance, form of union, or even sway allegiance is a fundamental and undeniable human right. The Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination is tirelessly working to liberate indigenous ethnic nations from the oppressive shackles of British Fulani bondage of one Nigeria. Nigerian current unitary constitutional order has consistently resulted in the unequal yoking together of over 200 million people with over 300 diverse ethnic nations, each with their irreconcilable core values and worldviews, leading to a perpetual clash of civilization and injustice. So for now, we can see that the so-called concluded election, an ill-advised general election, have further exacerbated the grievances and frustration of the people of the nation. As a result, people are declaring their dissatisfaction, and they're planning to retrieve their stolen mandate from the kangaroo court in a catistocratic government. We mentioned this word last week. This is a government that is run by unscrupulous people that don't know what they're doing. So to effectively dismantle this monstrous pseudo-union and reject unitary Nigeria, and its dubious institution, including the so-called INEC. It requires a clear-minded, structured approach that goes beyond mere agitation and wailing on social media or even carrying placards on the street. Therefore, NINAS, through its intra-regional, interregional, and international alliances, is committed to finding a lasting solution to all our conflicts, grievances, and injustice stemming from the unitary Nigerian constitutional order. Therefore, we firmly believe that it is our right, the right of the people to determine their statehood governance and form union or swear allegiance. And we will not rest. We will not rest. We go nowhere until this right is fully realized. So we are waiting for some people to come back with a black eye, some people to go and see their forefathers, some people to go and, I don't know, jump into a well, for people to wake up and say, hey, well, what is it that we are saying again? And we are going to show you guys so that when you wake up from your slumber, you don't go and jump into some random self-determination group that don't know what they are doing. They are shouting and making noise, because at the end of the day, ultimately, we want what is best for our people, and there is nothing any of you can do about it. All right, so let me have my sister add on while I pull up the video of the day.
So the video my sister is about to pull up is the interview, because we told you, our people, that we're not trying to build nations in isolation. What we are doing, it's been done before, and there are ways this should be done. So, and this is a U.S. policy roundtable. You know, this group of people like search all over the world to find out where American interest is being affected in one way or the other, and then begin to invite people to give them more information. So, and this is the interview that our brother granted, you know, during the week concerning what is going on. So we're telling our people, we're not local champions. We are here engaging everyone that is a stakeholder. All the interest groups are being contacted. Nina is dealing with everyone and carrying everybody along. So it's not a small job. This is not a small project. Please go ahead, my sister.
Like I was asking you earlier, a lot of people are probably wondering why Nigeria would be such an important part on the global environment and everything. If you could tell us a little bit about your organization as well, I'm sure folks would love to hear about that as well.
Yeah, I can barely hear. I might want to speak now.
Yes, please. Yes,
we can
please.
hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, right. It's barely coming through here, but if you can hear me, I'm glad to join you to report what's going on here. Yeah. I just left a press, engagement on how it is being managed on ground. What happened on the 25th of February cannot pass for election, even by the Nigerian standard. And we're happy that the global, observe, the ones who came from outside Nigeria to observe, had confirmed that was the case, because first there was the electoral law under which the process had to be managed. The INEC bypassed that law that required results to be uploaded real time as they were happening, so that those who witnessed the counting of the vote will also witness the transmission of the results. That was the whole purpose of the BVA. And so they suspended, they disabled the BVA from INEC headquarters. That was why the results did not come in. And so 72 hours after everybody had dispersed, they started uploading. And so the outcome that has, been published as a winner is a very far cry from what happened. And people are not going to accept it. The second deficiency, which is even more serious, is the one of the Constitution, the requirement to be returned as winner. You had to have the overall number, the overall highest number of the valid votes. You had to have the spread. There are 36 states in Nigeria. You are required to have at least 25% in 2/3 of the states, meaning 24 states. and 25% of the Federal Capital Territory votes. These are constitutional requirements. If any candidate does not, if the candidate, none of the candidates meets these three conditions, they were supposed to proceed to a runoff to see whether they will get at something. The INEC chairman and the INEC, knowing fully well that the candidate they've declared winner did not obtain that 25% in the Federal Capital Territory, went ahead to announce the result and said everybody should go to court. Of course, people have little confidence in what the courts will do. That's about the election and the outcome. But I had the last question you raised. I think it was to the last speaker, but I can take it, about why the world should pay attention. In 2019, I led a team that spent 7 months in Washington engaging, decision maker, the policy beltways, from the legislative branch to the executive branch. Of course, the executive manage the foreign relations, what the US does outside. The global terror networks, the reason the world should listen now is that the global terror networks have converged in the West African sub-region from the Middle East. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and all of them. Yeah. They are here with Nigeria as a hub. Our president, the Buhari, and his Fulani kinsmen, the ones you call Fulani herdsmen, it wasn't anything about herdsmen or farmers clashing with herdsmen. It was Fulani invasion. The Fulani are coming from all over the Sahel. The Boko Haram is the local franchise of those terror networks, and they formed ISWAP together. And what they wanted to do in Syria and Iraq, which they couldn't do, is what they are doing in the West African sub-region. They are going to suck in the entire West Africa. They are going to have at their disposal Nigeria's sovereign assets, including military assets. And if the rest of the world does not come in good time, like we try to urge the US to do, and I can report the US did very well in placing Nigeria on a watch list and putting Nigeria up as a country of particular concern because of the involvement of the leaders of Nigeria, particularly the president of Nigeria and his government, in the terror that was happening and spreading. And so, if the rest of the world does not pay attention, the global terror networks have converged here, and they're going to become several times more powerful than they used to be. They've never had the kind of assets they had in their hands right now. And if and when they begin to unleash, I tell you, whatever anybody saw before about terror will become a child's play in what could happen. And so we went to Washington with a template, with something that could be the solution to the problem. And we placed our constitution, the Constitution of Nigeria, at the center of that solution. 3/4 of Nigeria, even more, but in the minimum 3/4, agreed that the constitution imposed on Nigeria by this Fulani, who have now come to take the territory for themselves to become operational base for the terror networks of the world. We hear the stories every day. It's human beings who are counting dead here. And if the rest of the world will look away, when they finish with those who are already here, who they already encircled, they're going to go, they have more facility. We're talking about 3 million barrels of crude oil being sold every day. The entire money of it is in their hands. Just a few weeks ago, we were dealing with a situation where you know what they call ways and means. 22 trillion naira, which translates to $30 billion, had been taken from the treasury without any form of mention, not to talk of authorization, between Buhari and his central bank manager, the one they call the Mayfield, central bank governor. $30 billion. And when you saw the kind of interface between the terror networks, you saw when the train terror attack happened, they made demands and government was paying them money. You saw when the Kuje prison was broken and up to 150 of their commanders were free in a situation where the military unit that was supposed to be providing security in that prison area, because that's where they kept all the people they had arrested, all the terrorists they had arrested in the time of Jonathan. The unit was withdrawn. They were not there when these attackers came, and all those commanders were freed. The next thing we saw was in October, of 2022, you remember when the US had to evacuate? Because suddenly terror was in the air. They actually, visited one of the facilities, but before they could unleash, they were caught up with. And then one thing led to the other, and there was that evacuation at the time. That is how close we are to abandoning Nigeria and the West African sub-region into the hands of these terror networks. This election is supposed to be the point at which we could defeat what they were doing. But what has happened is that they have been allowed, the man they declared the winner now, his running mate is known to be the one at the center of how Boko Haram was established in Nigeria. If anything happens to this candidate, the Tinubu that they've declared winner of the APC Buhari's party, if mosquito were to bite him today and he drops dead, the person that will be sworn in as Nigeria's president is the very head of the Boko Haram you've been hearing about. And that will tell you how close Nigeria and the rest of the world is to the disaster about to happen. And so if we have a chance to stop them from getting that far, I think everybody should bring whatever they have. And there's enough of local initiative that could be supported if people will listen. But if they don't listen, of course, they're already killing us. We don't matter. But I tell you, the US will pay in blood. The rest of Europe will pay in blood when this monster assumes full control of Nigeria's sovereign assets and what goes with it. Nigeria's international clout will be in their hands. We saw what happened with Iran.
Yeah.
As you could identify the Iranian before he gets to you. How are you going to identify the ones who come from here? Because they are blacks in the US. I think it's an emergency. So it's not a question of whether it's PDP or APC that wins. It is that constitution that enables them do what they're doing that has to go down. Our proposition in NINAS, which we shared with the US, and we answered questions for 7 months between Washington and New York, because it came to where, you remember in 2019 when they sent the Agnes Kalama, rapporteur mission to Nigeria. It was in further interrogation of our propositions about what could be done. That constitution is what we say must go down. What we need to do is what South Africa did in 1990 to halt the journey to any further elections, even this one that has already collapsed. I can report to you that no election has happened in Nigeria.
All right. So this video is also uploaded on the Nina's YouTube channel. We've shared it. Go ahead and watch it there in its entirety. You can see that our brother is bold in his assertions. He's not, what is it called? Looking back. He's there to speak for the people. And you can tell when somebody is there to speak for the people, not the ones that are trading with care so that their money will still be coming, so their businesses will still stand for them. We're talking about speaking in boldness for the wellness of everyone involved. So go ahead, Sister Apia, and I'll pull up the PowerPoints.
Yes, my dear. It's important because at this point, we cannot be missing words. We're talking about lives, millions of people. So it's not time to sound politically correct or so that they will love you. No. When you speak truth, you speak it as it is. You're not speaking truth to get favor or gain favor. No, it is what it is. So you say it is as it is. So like my sister has said, the topic is identifying the appropriate pathway to self-determination. Self-determination is the people's right, but you have a way to do it so that you get to the destination that you want and on time. And of course, intact, you'll be intact in getting there. So it's important that our people understand that today's show, please, it's not competition. It's for you to understand. We want to break it down for you so that you make an informed decision. Truth. That means truth is like broad daylight. You don't need to use touch flashlight on it for you to see it. We are going to put it clear to you. You look at it and then be sincere in your analysis. Of course, we always want to remind us of what the issues are. 1999 Constitution is the dark connection to the Ahmadu Bello battle script of 12th October 1960. And in that battle script, he said, the new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great grandfather Uthman Dan Fodio. We must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. I hope you're seeing the ruthlessness in what you're doing in your annex that you're dealing with. We use the minorities of the North as willing tools and the South as conquered territory, and never, never allow them to rule over us, and never allow them to have control over their future. This is the wickedness of man against man. So 1999 Constitution, Ninas told us, is the dark connection with this and what you're going through today, even as you're there doing election or selection or whatever it is that you call it that you're doing, the sham that you're doing. The 1999 Constitution is what is bringing all the sorrow that you have been going through. So how do we counter this Ahmadu Bello Declaration? By bringing down the 1999 Constitution. So if we must take responsibility of our future and take charge of our spaces, that Constitution needs to go down. It's not amendments. So we're going to look at the criteria, for assessment, because we told we want to assess and look at all the efforts people are making. We appreciate everyone that is making efforts. I was speaking to one brother yesterday, say, it's not only Ninas that I do something to free Ndibo. If you're trying to carry a child and she's crying and saying, yeah, she's doing something, but what is in might not free her. So we are talking of doing something that will give us the result that we want, not just doing something for doing something's sake. So the criteria of assessment, that's a benchmark. First is application of 2007 UN Declaration for Indigenous Peoples' Rights template. That means the self-determination imperative. Somebody was like, why do you want to listen to UN? I say, hey, don't talk like a child. The world, the world, it does not belong only to you. It belongs to other people. So you work together with other people. So this 2007 UN DRIP is an important document, and you can Google it. It has PDF. You can Google it, get it. It has 46 articles. It's guideline for any nation or group of people that say they want self-determination. That's the guideline. You must follow it. It's not a suggestion. You must follow it if it must be recognized. For whatever you're doing is recognized. So the pathway, we ask, the pathway, is illegitimate? That's part of what we will look at. Each pathway that we will examine, first thing we ask, is the pathway legitimate? Because if it's not legitimate, you're wasting your time. By legitimacy, we mean that Ijaw people are fighting for Ijaw land. Igbo people are fighting for Igbo land. Yoruba people are fighting for Yoruba land. Tiv people are fighting for Tiv land. You must be on your ancestral land before you approach anyone to discuss self-determination. It's a must. Because Igbo man cannot be fighting for Ijaw land. Ijaw people will begin to kill you. They say, what are you doing with my land? You want to see my resources? You want to see my land? So you have to fight only for your own land. That is the protocol. There must be clear map of the territory or the distinct ethnic nation or group, that land that you want, that you say, I want self-determination for this land. There must be a clear map showing it, that everybody will agree, not the map that you drew inside your bedroom, a standard map that everybody agrees that this is the border and this is the territory. There must be defined process, framework, and timeline. So it's not something you do endlessly. Let's just be doing first. It's something that you do. There will be a framework. Define process. This is how I will do this. I'm going to Turbo. I will enter vehicle and go to Turbo. I'm going to Ijabode. I'm going to fly to Ijabode. I'm going to Adinobode. I have to enter 1 million to go. So you define the process of point A to point B. There must be clear strategy. That is series of distinct stages. After doing this one, I will do this one. When I finish this one, I will do this one. If I don't do this one, I can't do this one. These are all the strategies. They are there in this UN drip we're telling you about. The 46 articles. At the time we did it as Daughters of Truth. If you can read, search UN drip, Daughters of Truth talk show. You will see the talk show where we read it out, all the 46 articles, and explain to our people. So these are the criteria. You must meet them. You must do them. It's not suggestion. You'll be doing them. Then it has to be a non-violent due process. The world is not ready for all war here and there. No. You know, they can fight. The Westerners can be fighting. But you, if you want to fight, they will beat you down. They will join the rest and kill you off. Say, come on, shut up. Don't you know that you don't have right to cause war? So the process must be non-violent. It will have, the movement will have leadership structure. Then you will have consultation with all the ethnic nations. In other words, the stakeholders, the interest groups. You won't just by yourself stay on the radio and announce and say, yes, you're part of Nigeria now. You're part of Biafra because you're Thai rapper. Oh, you know you're eating otarapu, so you are Igbo. No, you're not going to do that. There will be consultation, adequate consultation with all the people that your neighbors, that are inside, that are everywhere. That this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to do it. What do you think about it? You'll say, oh, this thing you're going to do, it's going to affect us this way. Because it will affect us, let's do it this way, so everybody will be okay. There will be charters of relationship. So those agreements, I have consulted them, there will be document that you sign. Everybody will sign, say, yes, we have agreed that we're going to relate in so and so way. In this thing that you want to do, this is how it will affect us, and that means we're going to have a relationship. And then we will now write it down. This is not my father told me, my mother told me that my border is by the other side of the river. No. You will write it down and everybody will sign. We are telling you of all the guidelines that everybody must follow. So, and it's based on this benchmark that we are doing the comparison today. There will be consultation with international stakeholders. Yes, the global communities. You can't live in isolation. So you can't say, yes, it's my land. I want to be free. I want self-determination. So I will do it how I want to do it. No. For instance, in our case, you know, we have international, we have nations that have investments in our land. Some have oil companies, some have embassies, some have so many things. So they are stakeholders. Just because they have those things, they are stakeholders in your land. If you're doing anything in the land, you must consult them. That it has to be a robust consultation. You're not taking permission from them, but you're consulting them. You're discussing with them. Another point is involvement of religious institutions. You can see in our land, religious institutions have become like Mborogunjo, you know, the taproot. If you want to do anything, you don't consult them. They will sell you out before you finish saying the thing. So both international and local religious institutions, you will involve them in what you're doing. At least carry them along, explain to them. We're not saying that you're getting permission from them, because you know they also have investments. They have built empires in your land, business empires in your land. So they are interest group. So you must involve them in whatever you're doing. You won't say, go away. What are you doing? I don't care you. I don't care about you. No, this is not what you feel like doing. It's following guidelines. Involvement of US or world policymakers. Yes, because as you are going to do what you're doing, the self-determination you're talking about, we affect other nations. And their policymakers, we need to make some policies to accommodate your demand, to accommodate what you're trying to do. Because when you finish it, there will be changes. There we need to make policies to accommodate those changes. So it's not something you just wake up and sleep and wake up and say, yes, Biafra will come in 2 days. Biafra will come tomorrow. After 100 days, Biafra will come. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Again, we are saying we are teaching. We are not here to insult anyone. We are teaching you. We are saying you can't do things that way. Assets protection and guarantee scheme. You see, all the people that you are seeking the self-determination for, they have assets in other people's lands and nations. What is the guarantee that these assets will be protected? There is a scheme. It's like an insurance. It's done usually when there's war and everything, so that the assets of the people, the individuals who are the citizens of this new nation or this new country or whatever they're trying to do, so that they don't suffer loss, and their assets are protected wherever they are. Organization of people. How are you organizing the people in this quest for freedom and self-determination? Formal communication and publication. You must have standard communication on international or national TV or newspaper. It's not child's play. So it's not something you just write anything that we don't know who is writing and where you're writing it from, whether you're under the bed or inside your kitchen. You just write anything and forward it, and everybody must listen to you. No, things are not done that way, because the nation you are trying to build will contain human beings. We contain lives and properties. So you cannot do it yaga, yaga, yaga. You cannot do it anyhow. You will follow protocol, because the world is not about to embrace another madhouse. Social media presence. Yes, we cannot deny that we are in the era of social media. So we will also assess this pathway. Is it present in social media? Are people hearing about it? Actualization theme. What is the actualization theme of this pathway? What is it that this is the core of your message in what you're doing? Does actualization depend on Nigeria institution? We will check whether the pathway, whether you will need to beg Nigeria to give you freedom or beg somebody else to give you freedom. We will examine it. Is this pathway, does it have a tendency towards anarchy and crisis? Is it a pathway that will cause trouble and make people to die even more and destroy properties, lives and properties? We will examine. And then union reconfiguration, in other words, sovereignty for ethnic nations. We are discussing about Nigeria. If we are saying self-determination, that means some people want to change, like the way we take charge of the way they live. When they do that, there has to be configuration of the present Nigeria the way it is today. Something has to change because of this other change. So we will examine it also. So, and there we know there are many people doing so many things, but we're able to get six ideas, six opinions, six pathways, six approaches that our people will check to see what our people are doing. We looked at them and we're able to get six. We know that we have up to 42, 43 groups, but all of them will fall into one of this, similar to something. The first one is one approach: war, anarchy, and crisis. It has been tried before. That's the Nigerian Biafra War, or some people call it Biafra genocide. It has been tried before, and 3.5 million people died. We'll go into details. We'll break it down for you. Number two is IPOB. Their own pathway is agitation and civil disobedience. Then you have Biafra customary courts, customary law, with 6 geopolitical zone approach something. We'll break it down also. Then ECOWAS courts, Akintoye's Yoruba nation, that they're using ECOWAS courts to do their own. We will look at it and break down what they're doing. Nigerian politics. Some people say, yes, they will continue to do Nigerian politics until they not get freedom. And then we'll have Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NENAS, stroke Lower Niger Congress. We will also examine what they're doing. So we'll compare and see, which one you will see by yourself what you need. Should I go ahead? I continue.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So we want to break it down for our people. That war, the one that will say war, anarchy, and crisis, we'll break it down because it has happened already. So we'll tell you what happened. In that Nigerian Biafra war, the territories, Nigeria territory, Biafra territory, they have not recovered even after over 50 years.
Recover, you're a conquered territory, my dear.
Okay. In that crisis, we lost over 3.5 million people. 2 million children starved to death. It's, as we are talking, you'll be listening to see whether that's what you want to do again. You want to repeat that? Through that war, the people's sovereignty was stolen by Fulani and military class of 66.
Yep.
They conquered the people and took their sovereignty away from them. So if somebody is telling you no victor, no vanquish, that's a lie. The people were conquered and their sovereignties, the ethnic nations were conquered and their sovereignties were taken away from them. Ethnic people's resources were stolen. Their seaports closed down. Oil blocks shared among the military, the class of
1966.
Exactly. Airports closed down. The international airports, everything. They took away everything, all the resources from the people. That was when that thing happened. It was after this war. So the territory, for instance, became a conquered territory for real, as Usman Dan Fodio told Usman Dan Fodio and as Ahmadu Bello, as Ahmadu Bello told their people, they had succeeded. That's why you see military occupation in Southeast. All those checkpoints is not there. It's military occupation. You don't own your land. You are a tenant in your land. Your land is being occupied by the military. As a result of that war, they imposed the 1999 Constitution. Some people say, oh, 1979. Yeah, they keep improving edition, but it's the same thing. So the current one is 1999 Constitution. It was after that war that they finally imposed it, because they are not going to make constitution with you because you're a conquered person. You're a slave. So how can they sit down with you to make a constitution? So they made
Who are you?
Yes, and imposed it on you. As a result of that war, Ndi Igbo, Igbos, and all other ethnic nations began to go on economic exile to UK, USA, Africa, globally scattered everywhere because of this war. Because of this war, the global community, we know that anybody that wants to, because what happened in this war and other wars going on right now, the global community will not want to have another experience of war in Nigeria, because we are talking about 200 million people. That would mean 200 million refugees. So the global community will beat down any group of people that wants to worsen this current world refugee crisis that is going on as a result of Russia, Ukraine war, and the other wars in other African places. So we are trying to bring out for you, whether those that say we want war, we want anarchy, we want crisis, think again. Is this what you want? Is it even possible? Then we'll look at the second one, IPOB. Their agitation and civil disobedience. Of course, we are not talking like outsiders. We were in IPOB and we were even leaders. They are trying to direct our people in the way they should go. Way before these new people, the new criminals came on board. So the first thing is an endless agitation without any clear plan or strategy. We are not talking from outside. We are from inside. We know that Nnamdi Kanu does not have any plan or strategy. It's not insult, it's to tell us, our people, the truth. So open your ears and listen. If you think we are not telling you the truth, go and ask them the question. It is a one-man leadership. So when you have one-man leadership in a struggle, it can easily be compromised. Once they buy that person or kidnap that person or imprison that person, is over, because it's a one-man show. It's one man. All the ideas is coming from one man. So it's easy for the enemy to get you. Once they target that one man, the show is over. Remember when we joined IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu was in detention. For the next 13 months that we were there, nothing happened in there. They were just in circle, shouting on radio. Nothing. Even when we tried to put things in place to make, they blocked it. We didn't know that Nnamdi Kanu was from prison blocking the things. So you see, it's easy to be compromised if it's under the leadership of one person. We'll compare with other things. Of course, in IPOB, those that are on social media know that they have internal and external crisis, serious crisis going on there. And the whole thing has collapsed into criminality, terrorism, and political thuggery. Financial gains is a huge attraction for criminals. So if you have the self-determination pathway and there's a lot of money moving around, you see, it will
unaccountable money.
Unaccounted money, yes, money. So it will attract criminals who will come and say, hey, we want to join what is going on. You will know that what they're targeting is that money.
It's for them to be a taxi driver in Houston, and then they will become Minister of Transportation afterwards.
Exactly, because of what they want to gain and all that. We remember one woman when we were in IPO became like, oh, we want to give $10,000. We're like, wait, now hold on, let's try. We didn't know that she wanted to put 10,000 and take 100,000 in the Afiandi business. So you see, if you have that type of thing that you have in IPOB, it will attract criminals that will come and dupe our people all the time, So as we're saying, please be thinking, be examining what we're saying and be thinking through it. We look at Biafra customer law or customer court, See, anything Biafra is dead on arrival. Why? Because Nigeria has already conquered Biafra.
Nigeria swallowed you guys. You're in the stomach of Nigeria.
Exactly. Biafra is inside the stomach of one Nigeria. For you to bring Biafra out, you have to cut Nigeria.
You have to kill Nigeria and operate and bring the child
out. Go inside. Nigeria is the monster that swallowed Biafra. So you have the monster will swallow you too. So you can enter inside the stomach and go and bring out that Biafra. So, and another thing they did when we say swallow, for you to understand how Nigeria swallowed Biafra, they balkanized that former Biafra territory into South, Middle West, Southeast, Corate, Niger Delta, everything. They pieces everybody so that one is speaking German, the other person is speaking Swahili. Like what they did to people at the Tower of Babel. Some of these people go to Bible to get strategy. Tower of Babel, where you change their languages, change their name, change everything, confusion everywhere. The project is destroyed. So the people that were in that former territory, Biafra, are speaking different languages now. This one this one that. And they did not stop there. They went and made them oil-producing states. So you have different political godfathers and warlords. They have tested money. You can't go and tell them, I want to subdue you into Biafra. They will say, Onyekwa Denka, where are you coming from? If you're not seeing Wike, you can't tell Wike, I want your territory to be inside Biafra. Wike, you say, ta, bafu. So that's we are checking at the customary. So anything Biafra, anything you're doing that has Biafra in it, just know that you're setting yourself up for failure. Another thing is, this Biafra customary law or court talks about 6 geopolitical zones. Actually, this 6 geopolitical zone is caliphate British creation for Fulanization. They broke Nigerian people down so they can easily Islamize it. It's the agenda for global Islamization. It's not for you. So you going to say that's what you use to get freedom, it does not make sense. It shows that you don't even understand what is going on. You don't even understand what is going on in the space where you are. You don't have adequate information. So it is impossible. You cannot use the agenda, the thing they broke down for their Islamization, and they're carrying on with it. And you said that's what you want to use to get freedom. So they will be watching you while you do it. Hey, it's not possible. And this strategic pathway depends on the approval and validation of British colonial masters. And they told us that Britain does not want Nigeria to break. So what are you talking? What are you not doing with them? If Britain will have to validate you and have to approve you to be like, why are you wasting our people's time? Another thing is that it depends on
Why you're hiding in British colony and my people are dying.
exactly. So it depends on Nigeria African court system. So you have to be going to court forever, trying to prove whatever you want to prove. It's an exercise, like my sister said, that we are in an urgent situation, emergency. It's an exercise, our people. It will be suicidal to think of going through this route. You have seen the court, Nigerian court, what it is. Okay, so we're looking at all the options. Another one is ECOWAS court. So this Yoruba people, Yoruba nation, they are working with Professor Kintoye. They say they want to go to ECOWAS court. They'll use ECOWAS court to get their own freedom. The thing is that it's going to depend on the approval of ECOWAS court. And I think these Biafra court people also said they will go to ECOWAS court or something. So it's the same thing that will happen.
Which ECOWAS court? The one in heaven or the one in hell?
Okay, my dear. You're the one in hell, I guess. So this court is on Fulani One Nigeria's payroll. So that means Nigeria is one that is paying the salary of, Africans don't have money as a whole. So Nigeria is a rich country where you have a lot of money coming. So that the ones paying salary for staff of ECOWAS. What do you think will happen to you? Isn't that better if you Kukuma stay in Nigeria instead of wasting your energy and speaking English to the people that Nigeria is one paying their salary?
People compromised already.
Yes. So you see, hungry lawyers will feed on you. The same thing happening to IPOB people. They have all sorts of hungry lawyers that have made money from them, both locally and internationally, knowing that this thing is not possible. They just want to make money from them. And other Biafra agitation, we see them struggling with all these hungry lawyers and telling them cock and bull story just because they want to make money from them. That's the danger, of exposing yourself to where you will need hungry lawyers to help you. Of course, they just threw the Yoruba Nation suit out through the window. Why would they throw it out through the window? So it's like, go. So you're making yourself
thrown it into the latrine, except they don't have latrine.
I'm telling you. And you know what? The Yoruba, some Yoruba people, not all, and they're celebrating their failure. We saw them putting toilet roll on the neck of their people. I don't know what they're celebrating. It's like, ignorance is not good. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Please, let's get informed. And when we say lack of knowledge, we're not saying you did not go to school. We're not saying you're not a medical doctor. We're not saying you're not a this or architect or this or that. We're just saying that on this issue,
you don't have the appropriate information.
You don't have the appropriate information. And it doesn't mean that you can't go and get it. We're just saying go and sit down and get it. We were not born with this information. We sat down, did our homework, and began to get all the information, and things began to make sense to us. So please, we're encouraging our people to go and seek accurate and appropriate information. Then we'll look at some group that say they want to follow Nigeria political system. If we're telling them, we need to do something, you say, yes, we want to continue to vote until we now get freedom. Okay, the thing is that almighty INEC.
All of them, their children are hiding somewhere. They are not back home. Exactly. None of their children is one of the youths that you're seeing. None of them.
So you're going to have to deal with almighty corrupt INEC. Because INEC is as corrupt as other institutions in Nigeria. Election rigging, election or selection by INEC, of INEC, for INEC. It starts and ends with INEC. That's what you have to be dealing with. My sister is going to break it down further for us, for you to see what will happen to you when you choose to go that route. Of course, we told our people that the 1999 unitary constitution, because it's not a federal constitution, it's a unitary constitution, it corrupts anything that it touches. Anything it touches, it corrupts it. And that's what happened to your 25th February general election. And of course, March 18 gubernatorial election. The only reason you're having the problem you're having, the issues I have is because of 1999 Constitution. Why? INEC is centralized. When you have unitary, that means everything is controlled from the federal government. And if that federal government, as is the case of Nigeria, has been hijacked by the Fulani Caliphate, the terrorists, the people that they say was terrorists fought in the world, hijacked this federal government. So everything starts and ends with them. But if we had federal constitution, INEC will not be this almighty. It will break in different regions or different blocks or whatever that you choose, and they will not come together. So if you want to do corrupt anything, you mean you have to go around. The work is harder for you. But because everything is centralized, it's very easy. Once you destroy the one that is central, this is over. So voters registration is centralized. BVA programming is centralized. Polling units is centralized. They will have to decide ab initio where the polling units will be. Okay, in the north, we want votes, so we'll give you 800 polling units. In the south, we don't want you to vote, we'll give you 200 polling units. They are deciding. My people say, Hajim Majideji. They are holding the knife, they're holding the yam. They cut to the piece they want for you. That's what it means. That's what 1999 Constitution does. The logistics, the collation, even the mandates. INEC will swallow your so-called mandates. It's not today they started swallowing mandates. Chief Awolowo's mandate was swallowed and they took him to prison. MKO Abiola's mandate was swallowed. They did not only take him to prison, they also killed him. So those of you that are saying, we no go agree, we no go agree. I got Banafa I just with a mandate. The monster swallowed the mandate. You want to enter inside the stomach of monster to get the mandate.
Yep.
So another thing about political system in Nigeria is that you have lopsided political structure. The 36 states that you have, for instance, 19 in the north, 17 in the south. In that south, they now divide them again into southwest, southeast, south-south, middle west. These are ethnic minorities. I mean, these are political minorities. They are pieces like chopping you, balkanizing you, so that you cannot come together and speak in one voice. Yep. So when they tell you that, oh, the North will always continue to rule you, yes, because they have put the structure to do that. The 774 local governments in Kano alone, they have 44.
Oh.
One state. Bayelsa, that is also a state, has 8. So you see the representation, even at National Assembly, you are not adequate.
You won't be able to make any goddamn move than to collect your salary and go home.
Exactly. You collect your salary and go home. So the south, the southern part of Nigeria is politically an electoral minority. And you see the fake population census that Britain did for them, which they still want to do now. You see this 2023?
Yeah, every time there's a census, they inflate their numbers.
Exactly.
That's why they always be higher than you. No matter what you do, their numbers will all. Also, get 1 million miles. If you don't see a house, their numbers will still be more than you guys.
And this time around, they're just not going to even do numbers because they have imported Fulanis. You saw during COVID when they brought Fulanis. And these Fulanis are in your villages. So, and they will register them during this census as Ndibo, as Yoruba people, as Ijo, wherever they are. That means Fulani Ijo, Fulani Igbo, Fulani Yoruba, Fulani Kwara, Fulani Tiv. They have done the distribution. That's why they want to do this census. And who is in charge of the data? Pantami. The Pantami that told you that they had how many million data attack during INEC or whatever. It's unbelievable. Of course, people that they will tell you, if you don't want, go to court. Nigerian Court of Injustice. How far? That's where you want to go and get justice? Somebody will say, hey, I was in Nigerian Court for 3 years. I got justice. while you are fighting to get justice, Fulani will be entering to finish up their Fulanization. So it's not about you fighting in court for 8 years and I got justice. The victory is for you. The people have lost. Because while we are in court fighting to get your own mandates, the person that is in charge is finishing up the assignment. They know what they're doing. Military officers have turned into politicians. So what you have is military democracy. For those that say that they have democracy in Nigeria, it's military democracy. Because military officers just remove their uniform and carry their position. People, I remember they say, they say Buhari, when Buhari was coming in 2015, they said, Buhari, oh, do you remember what he did in 1984? They said, no, he's born again. He has repented. This is a repented Buhari. Now he wants to change, give you power to go and do electricity. So at the end of 8 years, he wants to tell states, oh yeah, generate your own electricity. So it's going to take us 8 years to change one item on the exclusive list when there are 68 items. That means 1,000 years you are still trying to change the
554 years. That's how long it will take us.
Okay. That's for 64. But remember, we have 98 conclusive concurrent list.
Okay. 1 billion. Okay, take
okay,
1
that's
billion.
what I told you. Of course, you have the church and religious politicians. Yes, the people that follow the trend and follow the money, because the trend follows the money follows the trend. You know, when you're sharing on Facebook and YouTube, when they're saying ba 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 shaka 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 ba 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 ba, share the video ba 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 shaka shaka, money is coming. The people are bringing money. So where the people are going is where the money is going. So if the people are stupid, if the people are foolish, if the people are uninformed, the church leaders and religious leaders will follow them. They will not redirect them. They will follow them. So they are not interested in getting what will work for the people. They are just interested in following the people so that they can get the money that the people have. So as we are saying, please be thinking through what we're saying. My sister is going to discuss something about this political system. There's another analysis she will give us. Thank you.
Right, thank you, sister. So far we have discussed 6 pathways of how you are going to get to your destination. And one of the things that we are currently practicing right now is the political system, the so-called election. So we wanted to use this picture to sort of tell you guys what you're doing, because sometimes you don't appreciate these things until you can visualize them. You know, so when you have a child at the age of 0, today, 2023, Tinubu won. The child is at the age of 0, right? Each presidency lasts 4 years, and mostly we know they tend to go 2 rounds. When you look at those 2 rounds, you are now at 8 years. So the child that started at 0 this year, by the time Tinubu runs this one and run the next one, or his group or his vice runs the next one, the child would have been 8 years. And then we move on to president number 2, that would take after the Tinubu's reign of 8 years. You will see that that child, by the time that particular president is done, that child will be at the age of 16. The same thing will happen with the president number 3. By the time they finish whatever selection and game playing they are doing, you are at 24. Talk about life wasted. And then we go to 4 and 5. By the time we run through 5 presidencies that went through 2 rounds of election or presidential elections, guess what? You will be 40 years of age. 40 years of age. 5 rounds of presidency that run for 8 years, 4 years each time. And we're telling you guys that you have no time to waste. And by the time they do this, now you can actually do the math. By the time they do this 10 rounds of presidency, you are 80 years of age. Sit in that. Marinate in that. That this is one of the reasons why we're telling you we don't have time to waste. We are not in a competition. We're not here to say, everybody is doing their own. We have passed that age. We are wasting people's destinies. It's almost like we are working for Usman Danfodio that say he will never allow us to control our destinies. We are here. When we participate in these political selections, we are here making sure that our people will not control their destinies. A child of 0 in 2023 By the time you run this presidency, 5 of them, this child now is 40 years of wasted life. My people, I need you guys to sit in that. We have no time to waste. Go ahead, Sister Ikwe.
Time to waste. And this is what we're telling our people. Now we'll look at the 6th pathway, because we told you we're going to look at 6 pathways. The 6th pathway of getting to, what our people are doing to see.
Please continue to help us to share, please.
Yes, please. So that's for Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS, and Lower Niger Congress. Of course, we tell you that NINAS is not an organization, it's a movement of all the people that say they want self-determination. It's like organizing them and giving them a guideline. So let's see what they are doing. So they have collegiate leadership, and all these things, we got it from all the people who try to find out from them. And that means idea leads. That's what they believe. That's teamwork. So there's no one man, it's not one man leadership. It is team. If there's an assignment, this team will represent and go and handle it. If there's this assignment, depending on the nature of the assignment, the people that we go and represent, we go and do what they need to do. So it's teamwork, it's the idea, assignment, not like, an organization when one man is the leader or one woman is the leader. Now, there's robust consultation in what they're doing. They have done local and international consultation. We told you about this consultation when we're giving you the criteria, how important it is to do consultation. There's also their theme. The theme is constitutional takedown. Constitutional takedown. That is their implementation theme. And they're not talking about amendments. Very important. It's not amending the 1999 Constitution. It is taking it down completely. That is what they said. That's the theme of what they're doing. Now, there's going to be union reconfiguration according to self-determination imperative. That's what part of what they're doing. And then there's going to be transition or interim government for the sole purpose of rectifying the constitutional basis of the union. So the interim government is not for a run of political system or runoff of the fraudulent. So it's not anything connected to this sham of election that you're doing. The interim government they're talking about is going to be two-step transitional template. It will follow two-step transitional templates. And why is two-step? They said is, the first one is, do the people, that's the owners, want to be in the union? That means it involves referendum, multi-regional referendums. This is not the one that Nigeria conducts. All these aggrieved ethnic nations will be organized to have their own referendum. And the question will be, do you want to be inside Nigeria or outside Nigeria? It is their right. And UN has said it is their right to make that decision. Like when my sister was talking at the introductory phase of this show, he said that it is the right, that statehood is the people's right to decide, this is the state I want, this is how I want to be governed, this is what I want to do. It's the people's right. They don't need to beg for that. So that's why NINAS is working for the people. So he said the transition they're talking about will be two steps. First question, one after the other, not from under or top. You will have to ask the people, the ethnic nationalities, who are the owners of the land. You have to ask them first where they want to belong. And then the next question will be, the next step will be, what will be the terms? If we do want to be in this union, what are the terms? They will make those decisions. You will not make it on their behalf, because democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. It's not government of oligarchs or government of one ethnic group. No, it's of the people. When you say the people, it's not you that you are leading my people. It's the ethnic nation, the collective. Ndi Igbo is one people. Ndi Ijaw is one people. These are component members of that entity, that fraudulent entity called Nigeria that stole the resources and the sovereignty of the people. Another thing they said is the system, what they're doing, what NINAS is doing, does not depend on electoral system or Nigerian corrupt institutions. So they're not going to wait for Nigeria to validate
Approve.
what they're doing. Yeah, or permit them to do what they're doing. No, they are organizing the peoples. That's the owners of the land. They will do it by the. So he said the process and the outcome will depend on the ethnic nations and the peoples, not the politicians, the fake politicians that are doing wuru-wuru. No, not the fake fraudulent Nigerian electoral system or the other any fraud institution, because Nigeria is a fraud. If 1999 constitution is a fraud, then Nigeria as currently constituted is a fraud. So it's not going to be the one that will determine what will happen to the indigenous peoples. Then the target of NINAS is to retrieve the sovereignty and liberty of the indigenous peoples. But you have to be on your ancestral land. I think I will stop here. My sister will give us further analysis. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please go through, share, like, and go through it. Calm down. You know, it's like we keep saying, it's not competition. It's not fights. Calm down. Because ignorance is not an opinion. You need to be informed. If we say we want this, we need to be informed. How will you feel if a surgeon that did not go to medical school, was not satisfied as a surgeon, wants to operate in your heart? Are you going to allow him come close to you? That's not possible. So why are we allowing people that do not know left from right lead us into where we're going? This is freedom. This is destinies. People's lives are involved here. Information is crucial in this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Ekwe. It's like having a surgeon, right, that doesn't know, or someone that identified as a surgeon that said, "Oh, you're coming to have an operation today. Okay, I think I have to cut you here first. When you come for your maybe stomach, they want to start on your neck."
Mm-hmm.
So you can see we just don't have that kind of time, you know. So one of the things that we did on this table was to kind of like show you guys side by side comparison of what the pathway that we have mentioned, the benchmark of each self-determination group in terms of what they're doing and where they're going. And what we have doing this in terms of making it easy for you to understand, we have assigned the number 1 for each point that each one of these pathways meet. We'll give them 1 point. So when we look at war and crisis under 2007 UNDRIP template, we can see, like, you know, so far under war and crisis, there's 0 for the people that are looking to go into war. So far, none of that has happened. And that goes for both the customary court, IPOB, ECOWAS, and Nigerian politics. And actually, I'm reading this wrong. When you look at the pathway that is using UN UNDRIP, that is using UN UNDRIP, you can see that, you know, those people that went for war and crisis, which our brother, when Ojukwu was alive, when he saw what UNDRIP did, he's like, wow, if this thing was already there, we could have taken this pathway. So they didn't know. So we can't really fault them for that. This is 2007. So when you look at the 2007 UNDRIP, who among this self-determination group is following this platform? You see that under that, it's only NINAS that has a point for it. The Nigerian politics does not recognize it. ECOWAS court doesn't have a clue. The Biafra customary court goes the same, as well as IPOB and the war and crisis, which stands for the Biafra portion of the information that we mentioned earlier. And then when you look at legitimate pathway, what legitimate pathway are these people profiling? None that we know of. What they're saying doesn't make sense. How are you going to get your, in terms of Biafra customary court, how are you going to get your freedom from Britain that told you will never go anywhere? So you can see again, when you look at that criteria, that NINAS again has 1 point. And then what about ClearMark? Remember, for you to look for any kind of self-determination, you have to be in your own land. It's not random shouting on the radio, random. If you eat Oba, we are in the same platform. We are talking about a clear map of territory that is being recognized by the international communities. Only Ninas was able to provide that. And then when we look at, and the reason why we are sharing this is that people won't think, oh, you guys are coming here every day, Ninas, and they said determination, file. Yes, because we are standing on evidence. Okay, so we are not bringing ideas from one pocket or the other, or we sit in the toilet when we are constipated, we start shouting and coming up with ideas. No, we're doing our research. So for the clear map, Nina has 1 point, and then we look at ethnic groups that are that we are work with in terms of making sure that this self-determination is what they want. The person again, or the group that really took care of this again, is Ninas. From the information that we're giving you before, we have already sent out this PowerPoint for you to go back to look at, because you may not remember all that was said, but you have the opportunity to go back and compare what we have said so far. Thank God for information. What about clear strategy? We know that war was brought upon our people during Biafran war. Before you know it, they didn't even plan, they didn't even thought it out. If they had any clue that 3 million people would die, I know they would have done something differently. And then we know the other people, all they're doing is civil disobedience and agitation, and now turned into terrorism and all kinds of stuff. Biafra Customary Court, their lawyer is in London, drinking tea. Doesn't have any plans for us. They are just there wasting time while our people are dying. Then the ECOWAS court, the people that wants to go to ECOWAS court, we just had that their petition got thrown into the toilet. No, it wasn't toilet, window. There was no latrine. So they just threw it out. And the Nigerian politics is currently happening to us. They will go to one poll and tell you, oh, don't transmit. And then they go to another place and transmit. Like my sister said, they will give 800 polling posts somewhere else, and then they will come to your place and tell you there's only one, so that they can stand in line for 20 hours and not vote. Again, Ninas made the mark. And then what about defined process, framework, and timeline? We have a documented information on the internet for anyone to see where we're going, where we started from point A to point B to point C and D and F, and where we're going all the way to the end. None of these people, I guess they can speak English. They're just on air speaking English. They will play Nigerian politics during Buhari time. When they lose, they will say, oh, Ninas, what are you talking about? Let me join you. Ninas will say, okay, your papa, you're good enough. Okay, join us. As soon as he doesn't get what he wants, he will run off and go to ECOWAS court. No defined processes. They are just all over the place, thinking that our people have the time for all of this. And then when we look at non-violence, the due process, we'll give credit to the Biafra Customary Court. We haven't had any crackers from them. We know that under Biafran war, that a lot of people, a lot of violence happened. So they did not meet that mark. Under IPOB, a lot of violence happened, so they did not get that mark. But for customary courts, we haven't heard anything. The ECOWAS court, they were just distracting people because some of them ran away from Ninas and they want to come up with something. So they just went to ECOWAS court. They weren't doing it to go and cause any violence. They were just trying to deceive our people so that they will continue to follow them. So they all got 1 point for that. And then the so-called Nigerian process, I don't even know why politics, why we'll give them. They pretend like they don't want violence, but we know that every time that is election, that our people, the blood of our people are on the street and people get killed for no reason or, whatsoever. And then when we look at the collegiate leadership structure team, again, the other ones, I don't know who was consulted and how far it was done. So you can see none of these things, none of them made the mark except for Ninas. You have one person on the IPOB, you have one person leading, and will come and bring some random person that doesn't know what is happening in the show and make them, their leader, just very disorganized. Again, they did not meet the mark. So we gave them 0-0. And then we come to consultation with all ethnic nations. Ninas is the only one that has gone line by line by line by line to talk to the people, the owners of the land, to see what they want, and then have them come on through charters of relationship. The other people don't know what that is. They hear it on this show all the time. But in order for you to move forward with people, you need to be able to get their opinion, hear their voices, see what they want, and then proceed. If they said, okay, I want to be in a relationship with you, then you proceed with charters of relationship so that they can say, okay, in order for me to continue to be in this relationship with you, these are the things that I want and I don't want. And you come up with yours, and you guys come up with an agreement on how to move forward. Then when we talk about consultation with international stakeholders, we know that, during Biafran War, that was not done. Under IPOB, it just fake international stakeholders by they take pictures with the front of Prophet Kedihan, known places. If you go to UN in Vienna, you take picture and put your hands in your pocket and say, carry suitcase and lie to our people that you're doing something. We know nothing was done. And then we under Biafra customary court, we were told that they went to the parliament in UK and they were told that Nigeria will never break. So I guess we'll give them credit for going out there and making fool of themselves. And then when you look at ECOWAS court one, of course, yeah, they accepted their application or their petition and turned around and threw it through the window. So we know that has not accomplished anything for our people. Again, NINAS has done that. It was through the work of NINAS that Nigeria was put on a list of particular concern and considered a pressure cooker for injustice. So the work is being, the people that needs to know, they do know, it's people that are on ground that are still believing in other platforms or pathways that are wasting our time. And then what about involvement of religious institutions? We have spoken to Adeboye 5 million times. When he gets attacked, he calls Nina, he said, what are you talking about again? How do we do this? We've spent time, weeks under the cabinet, on top of the roof, under the basement. We have spent time explaining this thing to every one of them. Coca, we have evidence. Thank God for internet. Each one we go to, pictures are taken so that we'll have evidence, because we know they are criminals. They can come back and say, we never met. Pictures and videos are available to back it up. And then involvement of the US and world policymakers, again, once again and again and again, NINAS has done that. What about asset protection and guarantee scheme? NINAS is the only one that understands the plight of our people, that they are concerned that because they have business in Ugwu Hausa and Ugwu Ndemwana, everywhere, Sambisa Forest, that if anything happens to their so-called one Nigeria, that they will lose out. No. Under NINAS, we recognize that. We are not telling you, leave everything and just come back, like some group are saying, come back to Igbo land. No, we are saying that there is a protection, there is a scheme on to how to protect your properties where they are. They are insured. They will be insured so that if anything happens, you will get some compensation of your properties. So these are people that are really thinking to the ground on how to make sure that this process goes through. At least it doesn't processes go through. So it doesn't even depend on what the so-called Nigeria itself wants. It's all about, you can see from so far from the explanation that we have made, it's all about what you want, because the pathways has been set straight to make this NINAS proposition to come through. And then when it comes to organization of the people, we give everybody credit. We know during Biafra War, our people were supporting Ojukwu because it was brought upon them. They just didn't have to react and support. And then under IPOB, people thought that this guy was leading through a good pathway and doing civil disobedience of what he was doing. So we'll give him credit at some point, before he got sealed and documented and delivered. And then the same with Biafra customary court, we see some people, following them. ECOWAS, Nigerian politics, we see all of that. So you can see that on that junction, everybody got 1 point. And then when it comes to mass education, everybody has really done a very good job in terms of educating our people and letting them know what the information out there is. But educating on what? Are you educating them on trash or boo-boo or time wasting strategy? You can see that it's important. Yes, you've done education, but what kind of education? What about formal communication through publication? We have set our information not only on national TV, it has been on national newspapers. It has been information that you can actually access anywhere all over the world. And we know IPOB, they do their own formal communication. They promote themselves, they lie and say they went to see Trump and everything else. like fake information everywhere. So I don't know if if that should even be their name should even be under that one, because they have their own formal communication and misinformation websites.
No, it's not under there. That it's not formal. It's informal.
There you go. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, they didn't have any points.
No,
Yeah.
I said their name shouldn't even be on that list.
Okay, okay.
Regardless of getting zero, you know. And then we
Yeah.
look at the social media presence, we will have to hand it to them. Yes, everybody, if you go online, for those that really want to know, the information is out there for you to get. What about actualization scheme? How are you going to get to your destination? No. Some people say that Brother Yokwi has one in one pocket. Jesus Christ has one. If I receive 100 angels, we'll move. 2023. Come on, guys, we are better than that. If you look at all of them, none of them have set out a proposal for our people to actually, for those that are open to this information, to actually take a look at and understand what is being done. Again, only Ninas has been able to provide such. What about, this is the one that is kind of like hitting, or almost, if lack of a better word, causing a cayenne pepper syndrome effect on our people? Does this actualization, oh, now say don't do election. What do you want us to do? Oh, if we don't do election, that's your leaders proposal is not going to happen. Oh, this. But the election has happened to you now. You haven't gone anywhere. So does actualization depend on Nigerian constitution or institution per se? No, no, it does not. What we are doing does not depend on Nigerian institution. For customary courts, we know that they are waiting for Nigeria to give them ears. Ndio ECOWAS. I don't know how that's going to happen until you guys take over paying those people from your own payroll. They are not going to listen to you. Then in the Nigeria politics, we know that they're all about Nigeria. But what Ninas is doing does not depend on actualization. The actualization of what Nina's strategy is proposing does not depend on Nigerian constitution. Neither did the Biafran war. It didn't depend on Nigerian institution. They are busy. They know what they want and they were going for it. They wouldn't depend on Nigeria or anybody else. And we can say the same thing for IPOB, the ones that are hiding in the forest. What about anarchy and crisis? Anarchy everywhere, people dying, things fall apart, the center cannot hold. We give war crisis, we give a point to Biafran war, we give point to IPOB, because we know how the last few days before the election, before the money disappeared from circulation, we know the mayhem that was unleashed upon our people from misinformed children, a lot of them young boys being killed for no reason, in the forest for no reason, life wasted. A lot of them have insulted their Oga and thinking that when they get Biafra, they will take one of the Oga's car and motorcycle and stores and everything else. Just misinformed kids, just destroying their future and everything else involved. So we give them points for that, for a job well done on causing crisis on our land. And then Biafra customary court in their favor, they have not done such, so they get zeros. The same with ECOWAS, Nigerian politics, as well as NINAS. And then what about union reconfiguration? Because it's this one unitary union that has us pinned down in a place that is very uncomfortable for every one of us, in a place that we cannot control our destinies, in a place that we cannot move forward. And again, you can see that for Biafran war, they didn't get any points for that. The same with IPOB. Again, once again, the only person that wants sovereignty for the ethnic nations. For ethnic nations. Please listen very well, because I usually miss all my S's. For ethnic nations. So we're talking about for every nation involved, every indigenous peoples involved that want their union reconfiguration to be able to return their sovereignties in their hands, for them to do as they wish with their sovereignties. Again, once again, is only Ninas. So in totality, we're able to give each group a point. You can see that the Biafran war crisis got 4, the IPOB got 4, the Biafra customary law got 7, ECOWAS got 7, Nigerian politics got 7, and Ninas got 20. So the reason why we come up, try to show you guys this in number for you to see the difference. You can see this is almost like Nigerian, not constitution, Nigeria setup, right? The northern people are over us. They are 19, we are 17. They claim that they are 70% of the population is in Ugwu Hausa, and the other one, the 30% is on the south side. So you can see there is no match for 70 over 30. So that means even if you guys work so hard, so diligently, give it all you got, and you got that whole 30% to come in and you say the same word, use the same plan, say the same yes, that when you compare it to 70%, that you're not going anywhere. That's how Nina's it is when it comes to the pathway to self-determination. When it comes to the criteria, you can see that Nina's meet 20%. It's not even half. The other places didn't even go half. We're not even talking about 10 or 11 or 15. Ah, okay, the other one is 17, close by. Let's go take a look and see. No, we're talking about there is no comparison. Nina's and LNC strategy blows them out of the water. This is why we as mothers are seriously standing on this, because we understand that the lives of our children depends on this, that the lives of our children in terms of their future depends on us getting this right. And then also when it comes to time, we do not have the time anymore. We do not have the time. People are talking about AI, chat, BGBT, bots doing these things, and we are here. We can't even get an election right. We will spend billions and billions of dollars to get polling vote and PVCs or whatever you guys call it, all in the name. At the end of the day, everything is being tabulated with paper and pen. So why do we spend billions for this if we are using papers and pen?
Sorry, just a quick correction. That 20 item 20 number 20 is actually almost 100% for Ninas, because they met all the criteria. So the 20 is just 20 number 20, not percent. So
no. Did I say percent? No,
yes,
I didn't.
yes.
I
So if
didn't
you
mean.
convert it to percentage, it's gonna be
No.
close to
Sorry.
100%. Yeah.
Thank you for
Sorry.
correcting that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean percent. I mean 20. Yes, because the
Yeah.
criteria that we showed is 20 criteria that we showed. So out of that 20, yes, Nina's had 20. So that keeps it at 100%. Thank you, Sister. All right. So, of course, we cannot end this show without discussing the 5-point proposition summary, which again, is out there. If you want to let me know that you know who Brother Tony is, if you cannot tell me this, then don't bother. Don't tell me you know who he is. You don't. And this is not even about him. This is about what we need to do in order to move forward. So we're talking about an acknowledgement of the grave constitutional grievances raised in the union dispute as declared, an express commitment to decommission the imposed 1999 unitary constitution, an express commitment to shelve no further election. You guys have gone to that, and it has happened to you guys. An invitation, once again, an invitation to the constituent peoples of Nigeria to work out the modalities for transitioning arrangement that must be done. I know you guys are not used to giving rights to Umu Boy or your driver. Your driver is supposed to be your dog that sits outside and wait for you to jump in the car. So it's a fresh idea, theme to you guys, for you guys to hear that we want everybody to have rights. Like for people that like to subjugate people, they don't get it. That we want everybody, your housekeepers and your toilet cleaners, we want them to have a say in all of this in order to move forward. And last but not least, announcement of a time-bound two-stage transitioning process, which shall, in the first stage, future multi-regional referendums by which constitution components shall elect to recommit or opt out of the union. And then if they decide, we will move forward as dictated by the outcome of the referendums. So these things are not difficult to understand. Again, if you are not getting access to our PowerPoint, send us a message, either through Facebook or YouTube, so that we can forward you this information, just so that you can do it on your own time. Sometimes we have to sort of rush because of time constraint. We rush through the thing, but if you are able to either listen and maybe go through the PowerPoint as you're listening to what we're saying, you will get a whole lot more out of this. And our goal is to empower our people so that you'll be able to speak intelligently on our behalf. And like my sister said, because you're a neurosurgeon at Memorial Hermann does not mean that you understand what this thing is all about. So learn to stay in your lane. If you want to go to the other lane, go and learn what it takes to be in the other lane. Don't just come and speak because you're a doctor and you want to deceive my people with your stupid doctorate degree. But by the way, you guys are not the only one people that have doctorates. So, so we are coming up with some Nina's new set of broadcasts next week. So look out for it. Nina's do have YouTube channel. They weekly post videos on there of about things that are going on. The same thing on our Facebook. If you go there, Nina's Facebook, LNC Facebook, you'll be able to get more information as we respond to what is going on ground. Brother Tony is very good with sending out information as to what's going on ground so that they can follow. And then our sister Ndidi has this 1 minute podcast that she sent, because I know a lot of people what do not say, so we are running, ripping and running. We need to be able to get in this information firsthand. And then on Tuesdays, we just want people to say Nina's is right. We stand with Nina's. It's not a competition, my people. We just want what is best for you guys. It's not, we are not marrying the same husband. We are not raising the same kids. What we want is for us to be sleeping and the law is working for both the rich and the poor. That's what this whole thing is all about. So please remember that. So to learn more, we want you to visit our website, ninasvoice.org, thedaughtersofTruth.org. And we say that you must insist on transition now. Leave the election alone. It's never for your favor. We've already told you that INEC, I and INEC, is for the election is by INEC, for INEC, in INEC, with INEC, do INEC, INEC. You're not going anywhere with it. It's not for you. The system is already skewed against you. So you cannot go and try the damn system. It's already skewed against you. All right, my people. We will continue. We're not going anywhere. We've been sent by the angel to do this work, and this work we must do until everybody wakes up. So where they buy Jazwaga, freedom you must get, whether mature or mature. So we will end. I will end here. Allow my sister to add, so that we can move on and see
Yes,
you
my
guys.
dear. Nothing else we're adding. Just remember 3 points. All that we are telling those that say, oh, I know Nina's, I'm working with Nina's, I'm not. 3 things you just need to say. First, Nina's is right.
What happened? Oh, she's froze.
The 1990, these 3 things, just say it. If you're tweeting, if you're typing, if you're sharing, Nina's is right. Oh, 1999 constitution is what is causing trouble. Oh, we need to go into transition now to change that, not transition to get swollen rerun and all the nonsense, or bring our Sebanjo to do rerun and off run and all. No. They have tricked us enough. We want to go into transition so that will bring down this worse than apartheid 1999 constitution. Thank you, my people. Love you.
Thank you. Take care. We'll see you guys next week. We go nowhere. This work must be done. Until it begins to sink in, we go nowhere. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.